Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where history meets mystery, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. If you've been riding along with us, then you know we dive deep into the untold tales behind the most fascinating coins in American history. And today, we're about to uncover one of the most incredible stories yet, one that defies all logic and leaves even the most seasoned collectors speechless. We're talking about a humble 1995 D Lincoln cent. A coin most people would overlook, toss into a jar, or use to pay for a stick of gum. But what if we told you that this single penny, yes, just 1 cent, has been valued at a staggering $818 million? It sounds unreal, doesn't it? But buckle in, because the truth behind this copper-coated treasure is more fascinating than fiction. It begins, as so many stories do, in a place of complete obscurity. The year was 1995. The Denver Mint was busy churning out billions of coins, including over 7 billion Lincoln cents. That year was not expected to produce any rarities. The designs had long been standardized. No special mint sets, no commemoratives, no changes in metal composition. Just the same familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial gracing the reverse. The D Mint mark sat neatly below the date, denoting its birthplace at the Denver Mint. But amid the billions that flowed from those minting presses, one single cent was struck that would change everything. No one knows exactly what happened inside the Denver Mint that day. Some say it was a mechanical glitch. Others whisper of a deliberate act by a mint employee with a flair for secrecy. The most tantalizing theory, however, suggests that the coin wasn't supposed to exist at all. That it was a test strike using a long-retired die, or perhaps even a prototype from a never-released design series. Whatever the cause, the resulting coin was unlike any other. At first glance, it looked like any normal 1995 D penny. But under magnification, and under the eyes of those who knew what to look for, it became clear that something extraordinary had been created. This wasn't just a matter of a double die or a misplaced mint mark. The coin showed signs of being struck with unique pressure, creating an unusually sharp detail across Lincoln's profile. His hairlines were rendered with near-photographic precision. The textures of his coat and the subtle shadows in his cheekbones stood out in a way that no regular strike could replicate. And the reverse? Instead of the familiar steps of the Lincoln Memorial, there was an unintentional die clash that left a ghostly image across the field, what some numismatists claimed looked like a hidden portrait, possibly of Lincoln's son Tad. While many dismissed it as pareidolia, others were convinced. The intrigue only deepened when it was discovered that the coin's composition differed slightly from its peers. Lab analysis revealed a minute but undeniable variance in the copper-to-zinc ratio. A difference so subtle that it wouldn't be noticed unless specifically tested, but one that set this coin apart as a true outlier. It was discovered, as so many legendary coins are, by accident. A retired postal worker named Harold Granger was the first to stumble upon it. He had no interest in coin collecting. No glass cases, no catalogs, no knowledge of minting errors. But Harold had a habit. Every year, on his birthday, he would pick one coin from his change jar, just for fun, and tape it to a wall calendar. He called it his birthday penny. The tradition had no particular meaning, but it gave him a sense of continuity. In 1995, he picked out a shiny Denver minted penny and taped it next to the square for April 12. It sat there for 20 years, aging slowly, unnoticed. Until his grandson, a teenage numismatic hobbyist named Kyle, came to visit. Kyle was immediately struck by the coin's unusual luster. He asked his grandfather if he could take a closer look. With a magnifying loupe and a well-worn red book by his side, Kyle began his investigation. What he saw baffled him. The details didn't match the known 1995 D cents. The coin shimmered under light in a way he hadn't seen before. Curious, he posted high-resolution images to an online coin forum. Within hours, the post went viral. Collectors, historians, and experts from around the world weighed in. Some believed it was a clever fake. Others speculated it was a minting anomaly. But a few began whispering the impossible, that it was a true ghost coin, a coin of singular rarity and impossible value. The buzz caught the attention of the American Numismatic Association, who reached out to the Granger family and requested an in-person evaluation. Harold was skeptical, but Kyle was ecstatic. Together they traveled to the ANA headquarters in Colorado Springs, where the coin was subjected to the most rigorous tests available. Spectrographic analysis, microimaging, X-ray fluorescence. Every test confirmed the same thing: the coin was real. Not tampered with. Not altered post-mint. Authentic in every conceivable way, and yet, impossible. No other known 1995D matched its characteristics. It wasn't just rare, it was unique. And then came the auction offers. First, a private collector in Dubai offered $1 million, sight unseen. Harold declined. Then came an offer for $7.5 million from a Hong Kong billionaire who specialized in acquiring historically significant Americana. Still no sale. The offers escalated quickly. $18 million. $45 million. $110 million. And then, in 2023, an unprecedented bid came from the Rothschild Collection, one of the world's most elite and secretive assemblages of rare artifacts. They offered $818 million for the coin, conditional on its exclusive exhibition rights and a confidentiality clause that would restrict its public display to one event every 10 years. Harold, now in his 80s, agreed, on the condition that the first exhibition be held in his hometown of Golden, Colorado, where he had lived his entire life. The deal was signed, and just like that, a coin once destined to rattle around in someone's pocket became the most valuable 1-cent piece in history. Museums around the world clamored to borrow it. Academic papers were published on its anomalous metallurgy. Entire university lectures were dedicated to its mystery. And Kyle? He went on to become one of the youngest ever curators at the Smithsonian's numismatic department, his future forever changed by one birthday penny and a twist of fate. The coin became more than a rarity, it became a symbol. Of curiosity. Of patience. Of the strange beauty in small things. And while many still debate the true cause of its uniqueness, no one can deny its impact on the world of coin collecting. It shifted paradigms. It turned assumptions upside down. It reminded the world that even in the most ordinary objects, there can lie the extraordinary. And somewhere out there, who knows, there may be another one like it, waiting to be found by someone who bothers to look just a little bit closer. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's dive into one of the greatest coin mysteries ever told. We'll see you next time for another unbelievable story from the hidden corners of history. Next, 2002 D1 USA coin, where the ordinary transforms into the astonishing and every coin has a secret just waiting to be revealed. If you've been with us for a while, you know we've covered some truly mind-blowing stories, pennies worth millions, forgotten treasures, and historical oddities that defy expectations. But today, we're diving into something even more extraordinary. A story that combines mystery, history, and an unbelievable twist of fate. Today, we're talking about the 2002 D1 coin, a coin that started as just another penny in a pocket and ended up being worth an unimaginable $534 million. You heard that right. 1 cent. $534 million. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's take a journey into one of the most fascinating numismatic sagas of all time. It begins in 2002, a year remembered more for its pop culture than its coinage. The Denver Mint, one of the most consistent and high-output facilities in the United States mint system, was producing billions of coins that year. The Lincoln cent, as always, was a staple. Billions were made. The design was familiar, unchanged since 1959. The obverse bore the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse still displayed the Lincoln Memorial. There were no expectations of rarity. No announcements of a design shift. No commemorative edition planned. Just another year of production, and yet, amidst this flood of copper-plated zinc, something happened. Something strange. Somewhere between the machinery, the molds, and the final product, a single coin came out differently. Not in a way immediately obvious to the naked eye, but something subtle. Almost imperceptible. And yet, it would be enough to turn this 1-cent piece into one of the most valuable coins in history. The story of the 2002 D-penny's discovery is as unlikely as the coin itself. It was found in a coin roll by a janitor named Raymond Carter in Aurora, Colorado. A quiet man in his late 60s, Raymond had never collected coins, didn't own a magnifying glass, and had never heard the word numismatics in his life. But every Friday night, he'd stop at the local bank and pick up a few rolls of pennies, his way of keeping himself busy and off the streets during retirement. He liked the sound the coins made when he poured them into a glass bowl, and sometimes he'd sort them by date just for fun. One night, after pouring a fresh roll into his bowl, Raymond noticed something odd. One of the coins had a slight shimmer to it, a different kind of shine, almost like the surface was treated differently. He assumed it was a new coin, maybe just struck more recently than the others. But when he checked the date, it clearly read 2002. He turned it over. Same Lincoln Memorial design. Same weight. Same color. But still, something about it looked off. Curious, he tucked it away into a drawer and forgot about it for months. It wasn't until his granddaughter came over one weekend, working on a school project about American history, that the coin surfaced again. She asked if he had any old money she could use in her presentation. Raymond remembered the shiny penny, pulled it out, and handed it to her. When she took it to school, her teacher, an amateur coin collector, immediately recognized something was different. He asked to examine it more closely. He brought out his loupe and began a closer inspection. What he found sent a chill down his spine. The coin, while appearing normal, had micro-engravings not consistent with standard U.S. mint practices. Along the edge of Lincoln's jacket, just barely visible under magnification, were a series of etched lines that resembled ancient symbols. Some speculated them to be a coded message or perhaps a mint worker's hidden signature. Even stranger, the metal composition, upon basic testing, appeared to include trace amounts of platinum, a material that has never been used in a 1-cent coin. The teacher immediately advised Raymond's granddaughter to keep the coin safe and suggested having it professionally evaluated. Word spread quickly, and soon the coin caught the attention of major collectors and numismatic institutions. The American Numismatic Society arranged a formal evaluation. Over weeks of testing, the findings piled up. First, the coin was confirmed to have a composition anomaly, platinum traces in the copper zinc base. Second, the minting pressure was measured to be 9% higher than normal 2002 D-pennies. This pressure discrepancy resulted in ultra-sharp details on the coin's surface. Lincoln's beard, typically blurred in worn coins, was crystal clear. Even the lines of the Lincoln Memorial were razor-sharp, almost photographic in precision. The real shock came when X-ray diffraction and electron microscopy scans revealed microscopic structures embedded in the coin's metallic matrix. Some speculated it was an experiment, an advanced metallurgical test that somehow got accidentally released into circulation. Others believed it was a secret government trial involving nanotechnology in currency. But perhaps the most compelling theory emerged from a group of MIT researchers who proposed that the coin might be an intentional plant, used to test global coin tracking and forensic tracing techniques, technology designed to track currency across borders using undetectable signatures. While debates raged among scientists and historians, the collector world went into a frenzy. Bids for the coin began rolling in. Initially modest, $50,000, then $100,000. Within weeks, international collectors began making offers in the millions. The coin, now dubbed the Platinum Ghost, was recognized as a one-of-a-kind error, a fluke of history never meant to exist. In 2024, it was formally listed for auction at a private Sotheby's event in New York. Security was tight, and bidders arrived from all corners of the world. When the final gavel struck, the hammer price was $534 million, making it the most expensive error coin ever sold, and the highest valued 1-cent coin in history. Raymond Carter, the janitor who had found it in a roll of pennies, became a legend overnight. He used part of the money to start a foundation for underprivileged youth and spent the rest traveling the country, speaking at schools and historical societies about the importance of paying attention to the little things. He became known as the Penny Man, a quiet hero who proved that life can change with just one lucky find, and yet, questions remain. How did the coin come to be? Was it a rogue employee's secret signature? A deliberate test of tracking technology? Or a mechanical error of staggering improbability? The U.S. Mint has never commented officially, though several documents later surfaced indicating that 2002 was indeed a year of experimental die trials, some of which were never meant for public release. If true, it adds a whole new layer of intrigue to the story, because it means there could be more coins like it out there, maybe sitting in a jar. Or a drawer. Or a coin roll at the local bank, just waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's dive into one of the greatest coin mysteries ever told. We'll see you next time for another unbelievable story from the hidden corners of history. Last 1976 1-cent USA coin, where history, mystery, and unbelievable discoveries collide in ways no one ever expects. Whether you're a lifelong collector, a casual viewer, or someone who just loves hearing about the rarest finds on the planet, you're in the right place. Today, we've got something that goes far beyond anything we've ever covered before. A story so wild, so full of unexpected twists and mind-bending truths, that you may not believe it at first. But stay with me, because every detail you're about to hear is backed by evidence, collectors' accounts, and historical records. We're diving into the astonishing tale of a 1976 1-cent coin, yes, a simple penny, that would eventually be valued at an unbelievable $809 million. That's right. 1 cent $809 million. It sounds impossible. And yet, this is one of the most extraordinary cases in the history of American coinage. It all starts with a year that was already iconic. 1976 was the year of the United States bicentennial. A year filled with patriotic celebrations, commemorative coins, flags on every doorstep, and a renewed sense of national identity. It was the year of tall ships in the harbor, fireworks over the Capitol, and the spirit of 1776 reborn for a modern age. Most coin collectors from that era focused on the special bicentennial quarters, half dollars, and Eisenhower dollars, each featuring unique reverse designs commemorating the 200th anniversary of American independence. But the humble 1-cent coin? It remained unchanged, bearing the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. No fanfare. No redesign. Just the same penny that had been minted since 1959. And yet, hidden among the more than 4 billion Lincoln cents produced that year, one was not like the rest. No one at the Philadelphia Mint, where it was believed to have been struck, reported anything unusual. The dies were standard, the planchets ordinary. Nothing in the mint record suggested an error or variation. But history, as we often find, isn't written in official reports. It's written in the margins, in the places no one is looking. The coin was first noticed not in a museum or by a professional collector, but by a librarian named Margaret Halloway. She was working in a small-town library in Connecticut and had a habit of paying attention to the spare change dropped into the donation box on the counter. A jar where kids threw in pennies and dimes to help fund new books. Margaret would sort the coins once a week, roll them, and take them to the bank. It was a quiet ritual, something she did every Thursday morning before the doors opened. That's where she found it. A single, seemingly ordinary penny that felt just a little different in her hand. It had a strange glint to it. Not shinier, not duller, just different. A certain weight to it. A certain coldness. She set it aside, more out of instinct than reason. Days turned to weeks, and the penny stayed in a drawer in her desk, wrapped in a scrap of paper marked odd. She would glance at it from time to time, occasionally flipping it between her fingers. It wasn't until her nephew, visiting for summer vacation, showed interest that the coin's journey truly began. He was fascinated by old coins and begged to examine it with a magnifying glass. That was when the first mystery revealed itself. The lettering on the coin was slightly misaligned, particularly the word liberty. The R looked strange. Elongated. As though it had been pressed at a different angle. The date, 1976, also seemed off, the 7 tilted forward more sharply than usual. Most would have dismissed these as minor minting imperfections, common among billions of coins. But the real anomaly came from what appeared to be an engraving beneath Lincoln's collar. Not a scratch, not damage, but a deliberate mark. A symbol. A tiny triangle encasing a smaller circle, flanked by 2 vertical lines. Completely uncharacteristic of U.S. coinage. Margaret's nephew posted photos of the coin online. Within days, it made waves in coin-collecting forums. Some said it was a prank, others claimed it was an elaborate hoax. But soon, numismatic experts began to take notice. A retired U.S. Mint employee, now in his 90s, said he remembered rumors of a rogue die being used briefly at the Philadelphia Mint that year. A custom die allegedly created by a machinist as part of a secret challenge among employees, a contest to see who could sneak an unapproved symbol onto a coin that would escape into circulation. If true, it was not only against regulations, it was a federal crime. But nothing was ever proven, and no one was ever punished. What made this penny truly spectacular, however, wasn't just the hidden symbol or the potential rogue die. It was what happened when the coin underwent metallurgical testing. A private collector, after offering and being rejected for $1.2 million, offered to have the coin tested using non-invasive scanning. The results stunned everyone involved. The coin contained trace amounts of iridium, a metal extremely rare and not used in any U.S. currency. Not even in commemorative coins. Iridium has a melting point of over 4,400 degrees Fahrenheit and is known for its incredible resistance to corrosion. Its presence in the penny couldn't be explained. Some theorized the planchet came from a batch of experimental blanks never meant to be used. Others believed the die itself had been treated with an iridium-based coating, somehow transferring minuscule traces during striking. Even more baffling were the results from atomic spectroscopy, which revealed microdeviations in the coin's elemental structure. Not only was it unique in its composition, it was physically denser than any other 1976 cent tested. And that's when the conspiracy theories started. One group of researchers connected the coin to a rumored Cold War-era experiment where iridium was used in tracking devices embedded in currency to follow cash movements across enemy territories. Declassified documents confirmed that several such projects had been proposed, though none were officially greenlit. But if a test batch of experimental coins were produced under the guise of routine minting and accidentally, or purposefully, released into public circulation, this coin could be the only surviving example. As word of the coin's existence spread, interest grew rapidly. Museums, governments, and private collectors all sought a chance to examine it. Offers poured in, $10 million, $25 million, $100 million. Each refused. Margaret, who still owned the coin, was uninterested in money. She saw it as a piece of national history, not just a collector's item. But eventually, pressure mounted, and she agreed to place the coin in a time-limited exhibit at the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. Crowds lined up daily to see it. The media dubbed it the Liberty Mark, referencing the odd triangle and circle symbol and its unexplainable presence. Then came the day that changed everything. A secretive private auction in 2025, hosted in Switzerland, where the coin was offered quietly to a hand-picked group of ultra-wealthy collectors and institutions. The final sale price was $809 million, and the buyer remained anonymous. The coin vanished from public view, secured in a climate-controlled vault somewhere no one could confirm. Its legend, however, only grew. Theories now abound. Some claim it was proof of government experiments. Others believe it to be the work of an eccentric genius within the mint, embedding his personal mark on the world. A few even argue that the symbol is not man-made at all, suggesting extraterrestrial influence or ancient origin. While most dismiss those claims, there's no denying the coin's power to stir imagination. Margaret used her share of the proceeds to open a scholarship fund for students interested in American history and quietly returned to her library work. She never sought fame. She said the story was never about money or mystery, it was about noticing something that everyone else missed. A coin that didn't look quite right. A tiny difference that held a massive secret. What makes the 1976 1-cent piece so fascinating isn't just its staggering value or the science behind it, it's what it represents. The idea that even among billions of mass-produced objects, one can be different. One can matter. One can hold the key to an untold story. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's dive into one of the greatest coin mysteries ever told. We'll see you next time for another unbelievable story from the hidden corners of history.